here's something I really have to get off my chest because it's a way of communicating on social media some people do that I detest. And what happened was some months, well, yeah, about a couple months ago now, maybe thereabouts, I encouraged Kat Brooks to run for mayor. Okay. And she had asked questions on her Facebook page if she should do so, and I said, run, Kat, run, because we don't, as of this writing, we don't have anybody running against Libby Schaaf, my god sister, who I support for re-election. But I'll be the first to tell you, and I'm telling you again, it is not healthy to have a political situation where you have elected officials running for office unopposed. We had that with the city attorney. As much as I like Barbara Parker, to have her run for re-election as she did without opposition makes a terrible statement on Oakland's political situation and makes a terrible statement on the next generation, let alone the current generation of people that should be running for some type of office in Oakland and should be involved and aren't doing it. I'm not talking about getting appointed to a commission. I'm talking about actually running for office, okay? Barbara ran unopposed for city attorney. So right now, as it stands, I believe Libby is still running without opposition. I'm checking this on the fly as I talk with you to make certain that I'm correct, but I'd rather take the time to do it this way than to find out later that I was wrong, right? Anyway, as I'm waiting for this to come up, I'll explain what happened. Today, some guy I never heard of named Eric Arnold comes blasting me about being wrong about Libby, and he wrote a lot of words that were completely nonsensical. So I didn't even bother to absorb them for entire memory, because the moment he wrote that Libby was co-author of the 10K development plan, I knew this guy did not at all know what he was talking about. And here I am. I'm Zinni 62, which means I was born in 1962. I'm 55, and all anyone has to do is look at my LinkedIn page or anything, and they'll find out that I was economic advisor to Ellie Harris from 1995 to 1999. I headed the effort to bring the Super Bowl to Oakland from 99 to 2001, and so on and so on and so on. In 1999, in May, and this is chronicled, I put together a development symposium for then Oakland Mayor Jerry Brown around his 10K project. Now, what's the 10K project? The 10K project started not with Libby at all. In fact, when I tell you where Libby was at that time, you're going to crack up, okay? You really are. It started with Oakland developer John Protopopoulos, who I've known since 1995. And John, at this time, he owned the Tribune Tower and started something called Madison Park REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust, which is now huge and about to go public. Congratulations, John. You owe me a drink. Because I bought the other one, I think. Whatever, we'll figure it out. But I digress. Anyway, John befriended Jerry Brown, and as John told me a couple weeks ago, we were just chatting. He said that Jerry, who's now the governor of California, was the first, if you will, iconic elected official, potential elected official at that time, because he wasn't elected yet, who listened to him. And I think through Jerry, John saw the possibilities that he could live out his dream of building development the way he wanted to in Oakland, all right? So he got together with Jerry, and he laid out a map, he being John Protopopoulos, of downtown Oakland, and had grids. And they basically came up with this idea of filling in areas on this grid, this downtown Oakland map, gridded map, these areas that were parking lots, empty parcels, and so on, with building developments, not his own, but the whole point was these are areas for potential development. And Jerry, that equaled, by estimation, about 10,000 potential housing units. And that was how the 10K project was born. It had nothing to do with Libby. In fact, Libby had just started working as an aide to Ignacio, who was the Oakland City Council president. I'm serious. And then she later became chief of staff. Okay. That was 1999. 99. And prior to that, I think Libby had just went to law school, Loyola. God, I've known Libby since 1990. All right. And Libby was just sort of finding her way and decided, hey, you know, she was really looking around for stuff and managed to fall in with Ignacio, who basically took her under his wing. And so, point is, Libby had no thought of anything like 10K, let alone, you know, 10L or 10D or 10C or whatever. 10K is 10,000 units, all right? I'm just being facetious. Nothing like that. And yet this Eric Arnold guy tries to attach Libby to Jerry Brown, and I'm looking at this, and I just immediately dismissed him. It's like, psh. What bothered me about his approach is he didn't even try to ask me any questions. It was just, hey, look, this is how it is, and you're wrong. What? You know, before the internet, before social media, when I had my column in the Montclarian from 93 to 96, you know, if someone had a disagreement with me, if I wrote something, okay, that they wanted to understand better, they call. They didn't have my cell phone. Cell phones weren't prevalent in those days. You know, I had a barely working flip phone. But they would call the office, leave a message, or send, you know, write an email, right? And they ask a question. It was more civil. But the way this fella came off was just like, whoa, I don't want, my reaction was, I don't want to deal with him, okay? And I followed up, and I said, hey, I don't understand your tone, but I don't want to have an exchange on, and I have a problem with having exchange on Facebook anyway. That's Mark Zuckerberg's platform. We're making money for Mark, and I think people need to concentrate on media that makes money for themselves. There's nothing wrong with that, rather than for somebody else. And it's really funny to me how Mark really has become a billionaire over the idea that someone must post on Facebook, his platform, and not their own. Otherwise, it's like, oh, you know, you're doing this, you're trying to make a little money. Well, yeah, so it's either I make money or Mark Zuckerberg makes money. Somebody makes money. Why not me? Yeah, you're right. I want to make money off my own media. This is me. Okay. Well, anyway, you know, Mr. Arnold claims that we met. I've never met Eric Arnold. And when I finally saw his face, I'm like, I've never seen this guy before. I've never had a single conversation with him. You know, so I'm thinking, well, he must have been hiding behind some screen name or whatever, or what. And even then, I would remember it, but no. You know, it'd be really nice if we get back to, and I told him on Facebook, I said, hey, look, I'm going to do conversations this way. You have an issue, you know how to get a hold of me, just call. My phone number is blazoned everywhere. Please just call. He had an axe to grind. But in me writing in black and white what his issues were, it's quite clear that the axe he was trying to grind to begin with was poorly made. He didn't have his facts together about Oakland. And here I am, steeped in Oakland history. I should say it another way. Here I am, a major part of Oakland development history. Like it or not. I don't care how you feel about what I say or anything. You can't take away my involvement in 10K, the symposium, my involvement in getting what is now the 14th and Broadway bus corridor built via establishing the Oakland Downtown Coalition when I worked for L.U. Harris. You can't deny that I worked to bring the Super Bowl here, even though we lost to Jacksonville in 2000 for the 2005 game. There's a lot of that. I'm history. So a guy like Eric should just simply normally say, hey, Zinni, you've been around. Can you explain this? That's a lot more civil. If you're going to have an exchange on social media, try asking the person a question. There's nothing wrong with that. Better yet, try calling them. Nothing wrong with the phone.